Okay, so monsters have too many indicators that they're about to attack. And to me, I see this as a pretty massive problem, and there are a couple of reasons that I just... Okay, I did not mean to do that. But yeah, to me this is a big problem. And I think I'll use Rathian as the example because her tail swipe is easily the most egregious example of this that I know of. But her tail swipe can have 4 indicators that it's about to happen, right? There's the wind-up of the tail swipe itself, there's her roar, there's your character saying a voice line in anticipation of the roar, and also sometimes she will pivot beforehand, and that's another giveaway that she's about to do the tail swipe. And so it makes it so avoiding her most deadly move is as simple as just moving to the side. It's as simple as just walking in a direction. So the roar happens, she does the wind up, you're able to dodge out of the way. Now she didn't pivot there, but it still was super easy to avoid that because, once again, you hear the roar and you know the tail swipe is coming, and you can dodge out of the way. And also, here's the thing. The monsters in this game pivot unlike they do in World, because monsters in World could freely... They could start the wind-up of an attack and also change direction while doing that. Rajang could start the wind-up first punches and then turn around and start punching you. But monsters in this game can't do that. And so what this causes is for monsters to use moves that have built-in change of direction in them, and then do another move after that. That is linear, right? And it's extremely noticeable with Rajang, because he'll constantly be doing his sweeping punch or his ground slam, because those both have built-in change of direction, his side hop and all that stuff. He'll use those moves way more than he did in World, because he doesn't have the freedom to change direction while doing the wind-up first punches. And it becomes extremely easy to anticipate and avoid certain attacks. Rathian's tail swipe especially. And Rajang's punches as well. It's extremely easy to avoid those. If he changes directions, he will start the wind-up for his punches. You know, and so I don't want to get rid of the monsters changing direction. I don't. But what I do want them to do is instead remove the wind-up after they change direction. So, what I want is for, if Rathian changes direction to look at me, I want her to instantly be able to shoot a fireball, or instantly do a short lunge, like bite attack. And for Rajang, I want Rajang, after he changes directions to look at you, I want him to instantly be able to start his punches. And that kind of thing. And same thing with other monsters. I want them to have some kind of move that, after they change to look at you, comes out very quickly and has no indicator other than the fact that they've turned to look at you. And so that way it becomes, you have to start paying more attention to the monster, how the monster is moving, and your timing and that kind of thing. Whereas now, all that stuff isn't really all that important, because you've just got too much indication that an attack is coming. With the Rajang, it's extremely noticeable. He turns around to look at you, all you have to do is just walk away from him, and you can avoid his attack. So right there, my character warned me that she was about to do the tail swipe before it happened. And right there, she pivoted and then did the tail swipe. And to me, that's an indication that she's going to do it again. Now, sometimes she doesn't do the pivot, if you're close enough. But this move right here is actually threatening. Pivot, tail swipe. Right? But more often than not, she will do that move without pivoting. and it comes out pretty quickly, and it's actually a dangerous version of her Tail Swipe. This move isn't dangerous at all, though, because she can't do anything. And once you understand that if you see the monster change where their head is, you know that they're going to attack. Once you understand that concept, the game becomes so incredibly easy that it's unbelievable. Okay, didn't change direction, she's not doing anything. Changes direction, she's doing a Tail Swipe. She's gonna change direction, she's doing another Tail Swipe. Move out of the way. Right? Once you understand this, this applies to every single monster in the game. And the problem is that the change of direction is a signal that they're doing an attack. But the attack comes out too slowly. And usually the attack will have a wind-up on top of that. So not only are you being signified that an attack is coming, you're given way too much time to react. Especially with Rajang, because, once again, he'll pivot and then start the wind-up for his punches, which is extremely slow. And so it's easy to just avoid entirely. And this is the case for all of the monsters in this game. If you see them move, change direction, an attack is coming. And one that usually is easy to avoid. And another thing this causes is for monsters to use moves that hit in 360 degrees around them. Like Rajang will do his punch sweep more often in this game because it hits all the way around him. And he doesn't need to turn to look at you in order to use it. And you'll see monsters do moves like this more often. Because if they didn't, you would never be hit ever, without even trying, really. Because all you have to do is just keep your eyes open, and just look at the monster turn, and then move out of the way. And the fights become so extremely easy and boring, because the monsters just react too slowly. Turning, Tail Swipe, pivot, Tail Swipe. Doing the move with built-in, a built-in change of direction. Turning, Tail Swipe. It's not the thing is like the turning gives it away, right? Her turning gives away she's doing a tail sweep. But if the tail sweep came out fast after that, then you'd still have to be wary because you could still get hit by it. But that's not the case currently. Change her direction, she's doing her 3 fireballs. Tail swipe. She gonna change direction. Yep, tail swipe, just keep walking. And there isn't anything she can do. And it makes the fight kind of boring, right? It's not like it's threatening. This move is threatening, though. If she's not tired as shit, anyway. But, you know, this applies to every single monster in the game. And it makes them so incredibly robotic feeling and slow and boring. Now, in World, monsters could skip the wind-up of attacks. Rajang could skip the wind-up first punches. Now, that was some bullshit, because Rajang is actually fast in that game, and so is all the other monsters. But in this game, it wouldn't be bullshit, because the monsters have to turn. They turn, and that, in and of itself, is an indication of an attack. And so, if you see a monster turn, you know, okay, they're about to do an attack, and if they didn't have a wind-up, if Rajang didn't have a wind-up, then you'd still be able to avoid his punches as long as you see him turn. And they should only be able to remove the wind-up after they turn to look at you. Turn, attack, slow as shit. And so, I think that would really go a long way in making the monsters feel a bit faster and have them not feel like such idiots. and be a bit more threatening. What is she gonna do? Tail swipe? I'll just get hit by that. Why not? About dead anyways. But yeah, so it's like the fact that they turn around isn't a big deal, right? It does make them feel like stiff, that the fact that they have to turn around like that, but I don't want them to get rid of it, right? Because this is kind of like a staple of the older games. This is how the monsters functioned, and World was the anomaly with how free they were in terms of movement. So I don't really want them to get rid of this. I just want them to change it a little bit so that way the monsters are still threatening. Because once again, once you understand this concept that if they change direction, an attack is coming, the game is so incredibly easy and boring, it's unbelievable. And the thing is that the combat has a lot more freedom, right? You've got aerial freedom, and you've got more tools at your disposal, and all this stuff when compared to Monster Hunter World. But the monsters don't match what we can do. And here's the thing. If you were to put Monster Hunter World monsters in Rise, then this wouldn't be a problem, because the monster's speed would actually match our speed and what we can do, and we wouldn't need broken things like Rocksteady Mantle or Temporal Mantle like we did in World, because our characters were kind of a bit slower than the monsters, right? Just a little bit. And that's why you had things that were broken, like Temporal Mantle, an automatic dodge when you get hit, because sometimes getting hit is unavoidable. In this game, it's entirely avoidable, because the monsters are just too slow. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to complain about.